It's not the things inside my head that keep me going.
Let's
Don't
go.
need someone to throw me
7.
money,
That's
they
yours.
should show it. Keep chasing shadows, they're always haunting me. But I believe in something bigger, bigger than me. Bigger than me. Oh, bigger than me. Bigger than me.
What's up, Active fam? So today is episode 3 of the ABW TFM experience. So we're going to be giving you a little bit of an insight to our bodybuilding lives. We're going to show you what we do inside the gym and outside the gym. We want to cover a lot of topics during this series, so covering nutrition, our businesses, and how we stay motivated and how we plan what our future goals are. So instead of just going day to day without a real plan, we want to show you guys how to actually sit down, organize yourself, and come up with a strategy on how you're actually going to achieve your goals by executing that plan. Now, I've said this in a lot of my captions on Instagram. Every dream will forever remain a dream without a plan. Until you put that plan into place, you're never going to actually achieve that dream because you're not going to have a pathway on how to get there. So
when I was a kid, when I was a child, who motivates you the most? Who do you look up to as a kid? You look up to your dad, because your dad's, when I was a kid, fuck me, my dad was this, chronic construction worker, and he was the man. He was this really motivated, dad would come home, and dad's cool, because he's your dad, and you aspire to be like your parents. And back then, when I was like a 14, 13, 12-year-old kid, being like my dad and making 200 grand a year was like, wow, could you imagine if I could make 200 grand a year? So that's kind of where I set my limit, to one day be like my dad and make 200 grand a year. But before we can go and work out, okay, what do you truly want to achieve in life? Don't look at what your dad's doing. Don't look at what your friends are doing. Just because your dad's doing it and he's your ultimate motive, or your friends and what they're doing, you need to dig down deep and go, what do you truly desire? That's where everyone fucks up. They don't actually, no one has a dream. Who was I talking to yesterday? Actually, I was talking to this girl last night, right? I'm not going to say who it is, but I was talking to this girl last night, and she's extremely motivated. She's really beautiful. She's got a lot going for her. And I'm going to her, what the fuck are you doing with your life? You've got so much going for you, and you're just sitting at home, and I'm looking at this person going, man, you've got so much potential to be so amazing and achieve so much, and you could be a multi-million, and this chick's like going, really? How can I do that? Because first you need to understand, what do you truly desire? Once you work out what you desire, and what you truly desire, not what your dad wants you to do, or what your friends want, what you truly want, then it's simple. You just got to backtrack from there and go, okay, that's my dream, that's the vision. Now how do I achieve it? Now you just got to create a plan. And it's so fucking easy. But people just don't get it. People just honestly, where they can't do it. Once you work out what you desire, then you got to work out a plan. Okay, let's choose one goal. One goal might be a financial goal, which might be, okay, this year I want to buy a property. The property is worth $1 million. Okay, so you get your calculator out and you go, I need $1 million property. The bank's going to go, show me 10%. You need 100 grand. Okay, so how do you get 100 grand? People are going, fuck, how am I going to fucking afford $1 million property? And then you go, okay, so $100,000 you divide that by 2 weeks in a year, you need to save $1,923 a week to save 100 grand over a year. You divide that by, what do you make per hour? $150. Right, you need to do 12 clients, your first 12 clients a week. All you got to do is, you're doing 40 clients a week. Your first 12 clients go straight into a savings account. After you've done 12 clients, everything else you can spend on whatever you want. But this, for those first 12 clients, they go straight into a savings account. That way, in 52 weeks, you can own a $1 million property. And it's really that easy. That's the plan. The vision is the $1 million property. The plan is just for the first 12 clients save. And then everything else after that is simply, you just got to execute it. And you just got to do it. It's honestly that easy.
Vision, plan,
execute. And that's with everything. It's like, okay, I want to win a pro show. How the fuck am I going to win a pro show when I done my first show and I got like fucking anal raped like this by all the Americans, came fucking 5th last. And call me crazy, but I'm going to get on the pro stage next year, one pro show. I don't care if I do 10 pro shows. I'm going to get on that pro show and I'm going to fucking win a pro show. And how do I win that pro show? It's the same fucking principles. It's the same system. You envision. The vision is, I'm going to win a pro show. I've got a plan now. So I need to grow X amount of muscle, which means I know that for me to put on X amount of muscle, I need to train every single day. I need to eat a certain amount of food. I need to do what's required to put in that muscle in that pro show.
Alright, so as I was explaining before, myself and Nath had like a half an hour chat when we first decided that we wanted to start doing a little bit of collab work together. Now, making a plan and having that vision is our main thing that we want to focus on during this series. So our motto is envision, plan, and then execute. So that's what we're going to go over today and in the next episode. So we're basically going to do our workout today, and then we're going to touch base on all of this. But make sure you guys stay tuned because there's going to be a lot to learn from this episode series.
You know when you feel like all jittery and shit?
Yeah, bro. Is your face tingling? Shit.
Alright, so the reason why we're going to hit decline today first is purely because when we're on stage and we're hitting a front delt bicep like this, what happens is, as your elbows go backwards, your chest goes backwards with your elbows, right? And when that happens, if you don't have a thick decline, you're gonna lose that shape of your chest. So incline chest, when you're doing a side chest like this, the reason we do incline, because we want to have this side tricep, incline looks great. But when we do a front delt bicep pose, when your elbows go backwards, if you don't have thickness through the decline of your chest, you're gonna lose that shape. So we're going to put a lot of emphasis on the decline part of the chest today so we can keep that shape. Alright, let me make sure this is a good angle. I don't know where the lighting is in this gym. Okay, so another reason why we can also start with decline is if you have got dominant anterior delts or your shoulders are slightly rolled, which is very, very common in 21st century. Don't try to start with incline purely because the incline part of your chest is so close to your anterior delt, and if your anterior delts are overworked or dominant, a lot of the time they're going to secrete the blood first. Now, you want to make sure that your chest secretes the blood before your shoulders do. So you can do two things. You can start with decline movement, which is going to be the easier way, or you could also start with an incline movement, but go extremely light and really focus on, as soon as you initiate the contraction with your mind, bang, your chest starts contracting. You gotta make sure that, because if you start with incline and you go too heavy, or you start with the compound movement, and you do have overdeveloped anterior delts, which is very, very common, like I said, your shoulders are gonna work first. And as soon as the blood goes into those shoulders, before your chest, then bang, the whole entire workout's over, it's been ruined. Movement today, what Eddy's gonna do is gonna utilize a slow eccentric. Reason why is because the range of motion in decline is very, very short. It's only like, 60 centimeter movement, depending on the length of your arms, but it's still, regardless, even if you got long arms, it's a short movement. So really emphasize the decline, the eccentric phase, and from the bottom of the movement, when you push your elbows under. That again is going to take out your shoulders. Now from the bottom of the movement right there, you pause for a second and you initiate the contraction of your chest from the bottom. It's very, very easy to push through your shoulders even in this movement still. So bang, when he gets to the bottom, initiates contraction with his mind, bang, chest fires. Beautiful. Alright, last few, Eddy. Alright, one other important thing to remember. When you're on stage, this would actually apply for anyone, but when you're on stage doing a bodybuilding show, the first thing the judges are going to look at when they see you is your chest, because that's the most visual part of the body. So it's very, very important to develop symmetry and balance from left to right side. From the bottom of the motion, when you go to contract your chest, make sure with your mind that both pecs are simultaneously contracting together. It's very, very easy, and if you think about listening to your body when you guys train chest next time, it's very easy to put more emphasis on one side than the other. So think about it. Understand which side's stronger, which side's weaker, and then make sure that weaker side, bang, is guiding the movement. So it's gonna, over time, make sure I develop that symmetry, proportion, balance over the coming years. So I'm not thinking about the present. I'm not thinking about what's happening right now. I'm thinking about doing what's required today, so that in 1, 2, 3, 4 years time, whatever it takes, when I'm on that Olympia stage, it gives me the best chance to place as high as I possibly can. It's not about today, it's about tomorrow.
Come on, Nate, let's go. These are the reps that really hurt, but these are the ones that really count. Good, come on. Let's go. Beautiful. Good. Now. Come on. 3, 4. There you go, big chest. 5. Let's go now. Power it up, power it up. 6, that's yours. Come on. Up. 7, and again, that's yours. Drive it. Let's go, 2. One more. Up. Yep. Solid. Next exercise, what are we gonna do?
We're going to do cables to that next.
Yeah.
We're going to look at, today Eddie and I trained together, so we'll look at the development of our chests. We're very, very both dominant on the incline part of our chest. And our anterior delt, which is the muscle next to it, isn't super overdeveloped like most people. So what we're going to do today, just for something a little bit different, start with the decline part of the chest. As we progress in movements and exercises, the pressure goes up our chest. We're going to hit cables now, and instead of like this, the standard incline part hitting up here, what I want to do, instead of going up here, going a bit lower, we hit the middle part of our chest and the lower part of our chest again. Alright, what Eddie's doing here is using a nice slow eccentric on the way down, very, very slow. He's initiating the stretch on the bottom, and bang, initiates the contraction from the bottom as well. Now what he's doing is leaning forward to create a deeper stretch, and he's leaning backwards from the contraction from this point right here. Bang, leans backwards, because like I said before in the other video, we're targeting the lower part of the chest, the middle part of the chest today, not upper chest. So essentially when you lean backwards and his chest comes up, it opens up his chest and enables him to contract the lower portion of his chest a lot harder, which is what we're targeting. Good, Eddie. Beautiful. Every rep's the same. You want to make sure that you're using the same tempo on the first rep as you are using the last. So you go into this exercise to simulate development of your chest. The first rep's always great. Use that same mentality and focus for your last rep.
That's fucking intense.
Good. Alright, understand how do muscles grow. Muscles grow by stretching and contracting. It's really that simple. That's how we stimulate our muscle to in turn recover and then grow. So essentially what you want to do first is you want to make sure that we're going back to a full stretch every single time and utilizing full range of motion every single set. Now, as you progress through the movement, the range of motion will shorten, purely because of two things. Your ATP, instantaneous energy, is depleting, and as the set goes on, glycogen is starting to deplete through the movement as well. This is why we have breaks between sets. So as we're going through the movement, always go back to a full stretch every single time. Doesn't matter what exercise it is. Initiate contraction from a full stretch. So as soon as you start moving, the muscle you're trying to target starts contracting. As you progress through the movement, your range of motion will shorten. Why? Because the muscle is fatiguing and we don't want to utilize a secondary muscle. If your range of motion is not shortening, two things are happening. One, it's not heavy enough, or two, you're utilizing a secondary muscle. Work on that. Okay, back to what I was saying before. How do muscles grow? Muscles grow by stretching and contracting. Now, what we want to try and do in this movement is apply as much tension as we can to the working muscle for the longest period possible. So in any one set, or this set in particular, what we're doing right now, with the leverage technique, there is no stopping point. There's no pause. There's no loss of blood flow. It's a continual, in reality, one rep, the whole entire set, because there's no break. Okay, stretching and contracting. We lean forward, we create the deepest stretch possible. The chest is stretching. As soon as we get that full stretch, we still have tension right here, correct? As we start contract, our pinkies start coming up on this angle, our chest starts going backwards. Bang. So essentially what we're doing is we're getting contraction from where the chest originates from, in the middle part of where your sternum is right here. We're holding the contraction, and then we're using the leverage technique to maneuver our body to get a stretch up where your chest inserts. And we're using that one entire movement all the way up, all the way down, and there's no loss of blood flow.
So as you can see, as Nath brings his hands together, by leaning backwards like that, it's actually pushing pretty much on a decline angle, yeah? His arms are pushing towards the bottom portion of his pecs. Those bottom fibers are what are really contracting and holding on to that tension. Now the reason that we're able to do that is because we've got the cables slightly lower than our pecs, yeah? So as you lean backwards, you can see the angle, you're pushing through the bottom portion of your pecs. If the cables were up higher or at chest height, as you do that, your anterior delt is going to take over a lot of the movement and you're going to push through the middle part of your pecs. So this movement is all dependent on where you set the cables up and how far back you lean or how far forward you lean.
Eddie's shredded dung, eats like shit, stays shredded. Nah, Eddie eats very good, I'm just kidding. That's Nathan TFM who eats like shit. That's why Nathan's not shredded. Beautiful.
Oh!
Check out those lines where Eddie's chest inserts right in there. Your Heath has that. That's hectic.
Hey! Oh!
Beautiful. Leverage technique, TFM ABW leverage technique. Beautiful. And notice right now, Eddie's starting to fatigue. So instead of utilizing the secondary muscle, he's going to shorten his range of motion right now. So pump it a few more reps and just do half reps, but the half rep starts from a full stretch. Every set, every rep.
Oh. Hold the blood in there, squeeze the muscle fibers.
This is something I do every single week in regards to setting up a Smith machine. Now, I don't know why I don't see people doing this, but nothing worse than getting under a fixed machine and having more pressure on one side of your chest than the other. So this is what I do. I take this off, right, and I rest this on the bench. And I make sure the distance from the middle is on the same on both sides. That way you know when you're pressing, you're 100% even. Because I used to stand here and be like, bench this way, bench that way. And every single time I'd be pressing, I'd be putting pressure in one side of my chest more than the other. So if you do this,
that's what you call Nath precision right there. That is symmetry at its best. That's why Nath doesn't have one muscle imbalance in his body. Because he cares. You've got to care, guys. If you don't care, how are you going to get perfect symmetry?
So we're doing the Eddy Ung
guillotine press. So we're doing a flat bench press in the Smith machine. Look at this, loosely just push it in. That's going to kill me. It's pretty even, bro.
This is an exercise I'd recommend you guys do first, purely because your elbows are right out like that, which means it's going to put a lot of pressure on your interior delts. But because we've done a lot of decline movements first, it takes the pressure away a little bit. As you can see from the bottom of the movement right now, from a full stretch, what Eddie's doing, his elbows are slightly coming under. The aim of the exercise is to go down with your elbows parallel with the bar, and then from the full contraction, from the bottom of the movement, from the start of the contraction, bang your elbows come and you squeeze your chest. We're putting a lot of the emphasis on the top part of the chest up through here, which is why the bar is hitting your collarbone, all that region. Same thing, 10 to 15 reps. That's our rep range, making sure they're fatiguing every single set. Good, Eddie.
No.
Striations.
Oh.
Look at that. That's just pure made up proportion, symmetry, balance. Look at Eddie Young's chest right here. Fucking hell, what a big cunt. Anyway, you can see that as Eddie gets a pump, both parts of his chest, both where they originate from, both where they insert into, it's just even, it's balanced. This is how we train, and this is why Eddie has that amazing illusion, because of his proportion and balance. Okay, so essentially one topic we're going to cover is being able to be relative. Now, every person in life is successful or good at something. It may be designing cars. It may be being able to mix and match colors when they go and put clothing on in the mornings and having that mental ability to make things look good. It may be interior design. It may be communicating with your girlfriend. It may be communicating with your work colleagues. Some people can go to work and they can hold a seminar and they can talk in front of thousands of people and they can nail it. But then they can't even go home and communicate with their missus. So whatever skill you utilized when you got up on that microphone and you went, okay, and you sat there and you had 10,000 people watching you and you talked about designing a bridge and you sold this concept to 10,000 individuals with plenty of money and they went, wow, I'm going to invest in this guy, I'm going to let him build this multi-million-dollar bridge or skyscraper. Yeah, you struggle to go home and you struggle to communicate with your missus, and yeah, you go to work and you're making millions and millions of dollars and you're designing bridges and skyscrapers, but you can't even fucking fix your relationship. That is not what success is. And you look at your account and you go, fuck me, I've got $50 billion in my account. That's all well and true. But success is not defined by physical money or finance. Success is defined by being happy. You can have all the money in the world. You can have the best relationship at home and have no money. True success is defined by being happy. So wake up every single day, and if you can't look in the mirror and go, I'm happy with what I see. If you can't look at your account and go, I'm happy with what I see. If you can't look at your life and go, I'm happy with my family. Do you have children or do you not want? Do you want children? You don't have children. If you can't look at your life as a whole and go, I am happy, then you are not successful. So success is defined by happiness. Friends, actually, when I was talking before about the guy who designed bridges, I was using this as an example. He used to come over to my place and he'd see my family, he'd see my daughter, he'd see my life and went, wow man, you have everything, you're so lucky, you've got A, B, C and D. I'm looking at his life and I'm going, man bro, you've got like 50, 60 properties, you're designing bridges, you're designing skyscrapers, and this guy's miserable, he's not happy. And I asked him, bro, what's wrong? Like, why aren't you happy? And he goes, because I don't know how to talk to women. I can't even create a conversation. And man, he's fucking damn right. I mean, I went out with him a few times to restaurants and stuff and just trying to watch him like look at a girl, be like shaking and getting all weird and shit. Like, you know, the shyest guy when it comes to females. But you can put him in front of a conference room with 1,000 people and he can just talk like that. So what I explained to him, be relative and understand what principles and mental principles and physical principles, what principles in general did you utilize, which is what enabled you to stand up on a stage with a microphone, with a Versace suit, and talk in front of thousands of people about designing a building concept. What made you get up there and have that confidence that you can just talk off the top of your tongue like that? And this is all about becoming relative and being relative to both situations. So go, okay, the thought process that you utilize to become successful in that, think about that mental thought process you utilize and be relative and utilize that in your personal life as well. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. And those people you spoke to in that conference room, they're human beings and you sold them your concept. It's the same with your relationship, with your partner, with your daughter, with your family and friends. It's exactly the same. You just got to learn to be relative. And you know what? This whole entire chest session, Eddie and I, we've been going through a chest workout. We've only done like, 3 or 4 exercises and we've had like hour breaks in between. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Look at the big picture. In reality, let's talk about theoretically, yes, to get the best possible chest, to in turn be the best possible bodybuilder, we've got to train our asses off with minimal breaks and maximal sets and fatiguing reps, etc., etc. But it's okay to stop sometimes and do what you've done, because to be successful in bodybuilding, it ain't just about bench pressing. It's about everything in general. You got to have a successful financial backing. You got to have a support network. You got to have your chest workouts. You got to have everything. So you know what? Today we've stopped and we've started. We've stopped and we've started. But right now we have put thought processes and content together from this workout that's going to make us, Eddie and I, so much more of a successful bodybuilder than if we were to just train our asses off and finish the workout like that.
Whew! 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 Alright guys, so just to wrap up this video, what we were really trying to make you guys a little bit more aware of is that people do this kind of stuff day to day, subconsciously. They take breaks and they plan things in their heads, or they go on holidays and they give themselves that downtime, or they spend time with their family and they take a break from work. But what we were really trying to do in today's video is make you guys a little bit more aware as to why you need to do that kind of stuff and the benefits that you're going to get from it. So obviously, like Nate explained before, the training and all that, that's also, it's so important, you know. You can't be missing sessions and doing this and doing that and expect to be a successful bodybuilder or a successful business person if you're missing days at work. But at the same time, you need to be able to have balance in your life so that you can move forward and be happy about what you're doing and have a clear mind. Mental clarity equals purification of your thoughts, which will then equal a successful plan and execution of that plan. Now I want you guys to really think about what I just said, maybe even write it down and practice that. Wake up in the morning, look at what I just wrote down, and then start to think about that before you start your day.
Because what is success in all of this? Success is a definition of being happy with everything.
And that's it. Alright, we're going to leave you guys on that note, so thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in on the next couple of episodes. We're going to be putting a lot more content into these videos from now on. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace out, guys.
Step off the train.